Hi, this is Dimitri Bilgir, and I'd like to talk to you real briefly today about a facilitation problem that I have seen hang up facilitators for years, decades. And it's the problem when you're working with someone, and it can be at any point in the process, and they say, "I'm shutting down." Now, there's really a few things they might say here that mean the same thing. They might say, "I'm shutting down," right? So maybe emotionally they're stopping, or "I'm blanking now," or "Oh, well, now I'm just completely out of it," right? And if you've seen this, it's really frustrating because you're doing a piece of work with someone, they start to touch an emotion, and then they stop, and then they tell you they're shutting down. And suddenly you're in a process that's dealing with their shutting down or their blanking. And that's really difficult. And if you've seen this happen, you know how bad it is. So here's the solution. It turns out that "I'm shutting down" is not actually the best way to describe what's happening. You have to actually reframe what's happening to them for them in a way that makes more sense. What's actually happening is these are people who've learned that if they let themselves get carried away, something bad might happen. And they need to be really vigilant and make sure everything's working okay in life. So what they do when they start to touch an emotion, especially an emotional experience that might carry them somewhere possibly even dangerous, they step out of that experience. And they get distance on it, and they look at it from the outside to make sure that it's okay, that it's still safe. Now, in a lot of the work that we do, this gets pathologized. They'll even be told that they're shutting down and they're not feeling their feelings, when in fact what they're doing is they're trying to keep themselves safe. So here's what you do. When somebody says, "I'm shutting down," or "Oh, I'm out of it," or "Oh, I'm blanking," and they start feeling kind of bad about themselves for doing it, you say, "Look, my bet is you've had a life where it really made sense for you to keep an eye on things to make sure they don't get out of control. And when you start feeling feelings, you want to step out and take a look to make sure it's still safe. I think that's great. I think that's really smart. So what I'd like to do here," you say to the participant, "what I'd like to do here is to support you in doing that. As we do this process, you can go in and touch it, and you can come back out and kind of have a look emotionally to make sure it's still okay, and then we'll go back in it again." So you can stick a toe in, see how you like it, come out, take a look, stick a toe in a little deeper. Let's do it that way. And they'll say, "Okay." And what happens is then they'll start, and when they get to this point of "I'm shutting down," they might say, "Oh, I'm shutting down and blanking again." You'll say, "Okay, well now this is you just stepping out to take a look at the process to make sure it's going okay. Do you feel like it's going okay?" And they'll probably say, "Yeah, I think it is going okay." "Okay, so let's go back in and stick a toe in a little deeper." And they'll say, "Okay." And you don't even have to move them around on the carpet to do this. You can just say that. Or as they're going, you might even say to them, you might even get the jump on them and say, "Okay, let's stop for a second. Does this feel like it's going okay? Does this feel like it's going in a safe direction to you?" And they'll probably tell you yes, or they'll give you information that will help you get it going in a safe direction. This way, you take this emotional stepping out and make it part of the process. You actually make it your ally in having the process go well, rather than getting into a conversation about "You're shutting down. Why are you shutting down? How is this like your life when you're shutting down? We can do anything you want here. What do you want to do?" Those are all things that don't work. What does work is reframing the shutting down as them keeping an eye on things to make sure they're safe, letting them know it's a good idea that you're doing that, good for you, and we're going to support you in doing that as we go step by step through this process. I hope that helps you out. It's a short way to handle a big topic, but I thought it might be useful for you. This is Dimitri Bilgir, signing out.